Everyone, welcome back to Binary Corner, and in this video we are deploying our Next.js application in Google Cloud's engine, right? So we'll be using the Cloud Run engine, and I'll be showing you how to do that. First things first, why are we using Cloud Run for deploying our Next.js application? We could use easily Vercel, but the point here is to give you a clear picture on how the production applications work. And if you're building a large enterprise application in the Next.js, you definitely don't want to use Vercel, because as the application grow, the cost of the Vercel might go up. So we'll be using a straightforward approach in Google Cloud's engine, and you can use the similar approach in AWS as well. So if you want that video, I'll create a separate video on covering how to deploy Next.js into AWS. But in this part, we are looking into the cloud run, right? So why Cloud Run? So basically, it supports Docker, which you don't have in the Vercel. So Vercel just build your project and just deploy to their own cloud. But we will be using the Docker, and the other advantage is we'll be having a same infrastructure. So if you are planning to deploy multiple things like databases or backends or anything else, you can deploy everything into the same infrastructure. And the last point is you can do a load balancing, auto scaling. So in Cloud Run, you get the option to auto scale your application whenever your demand hits, whenever your traffic hits. So it auto balances the instances, and you don't have to worry about. So let's go ahead and let's try to understand how we're going to do that. So currently I'm into my Next.js project, and you can see I have a Next.js project which I was using in my previous videos. So what I will do is simply I will create a Docker file, and I'll just name it as Docker file. And that's the first step. You need to create a Docker file, and what we'll do is I just pasted the Docker instructions, and you can follow it. So I'll explain you in brief like what we are doing. So basically we are using an Alpine version of Node.js, which is the smallest version, and basically it's used for production applications, and it is very lightweighted. So what we are doing is next is installing libc6 library, which is basically used for various things in Next.js, whether it's image compressing or image delivery, and all these things are happening with this library. So we are installing it. Next, what we are doing is going into the app directory of our machine and copying our package.json, and we are doing a clean install. So what it will do is just install node modules, and then what we are doing is copy everything which are there in our Next.js folder into the Docker, right? Docker image. Or we are doing is running the build step, and after running the build step, we're creating two users, one for Node.js, one for Next.js, and we are basically giving the ownership to Next.js. This is because when you're running the Next.js project and when you're serving the Next.js project, we need some sort of permissions. So this is good. So next thing what we'll do is to publish this into a repository. So I'll create a repository name Binary Corner, and what I'll do is just keep it as private, or maybe I can keep it as public for now, and create this repository. And what I will do is set the remote to this, and I will commit everything what I have in my repository. So I'll just commit everything, and I will just say init commit. So if you do a refresh now, you can see our Git is now up, and we have a Docker file in this repository. So now everything is good with our project. So now we are on the Cloud Run screen, and what I will do is create a new service. So you can go ahead and create a service, and then you will be prompt something like this. So you need to select image. You can use your artifact registry also, like Cloud Registry, which is there in Cloud Run, or we can use GitHub. So since we have uploaded our code to the GitHub, we'll use the GitHub. And what we'll do is select GitHub in this, and then what we'll do is select our repository. So currently it is not showing any of my repository. So I will connect my GitHub account with this. So you can see it says currently not authenticated. So I'll just click authenticate and continue. And I will search Binary Corner, which we have created just now, and just give this permission and click on install. So now we have connected our repository with Google Cloud, and now what it will do is pick that repository. So I'll select this repository, and then what we'll do is I will click on understand, and I will click on next. And now it will ask me for the branch. So we are using the main branch, so just keep it as it is. And then what we'll do is select Docker file, because we will be using the Docker file. We'll select Docker file and path of the Docker file. So since we have named our Docker file as Docker file only, we can see if you go back, we have named the file as Docker file only. So that this is good. So what we'll do is just click on save, and now you will see our image is now connected, right? So what we'll do next is select our region. Next step, what we'll do is click on allow unauthorized invocation. So this will allow our website to go public. So you can see, check this box if you creating public API or website. So this is good. So click on this one. So now comes the interesting part on the pricing. So you can see we have two options: CPU only allocated during the request processing, or CPU always allocated. So this is where you need to select the first option, which says CPU only allocated during the request processing. So you will only charge when a user hits the request, and not for full day, right? But this gives slight delay if your server is offline for a long time, and if a user visits your website, so they will see a slight delay. That is okay. So we'll select the first option. But if you really want to do a high availability, so you can select the second option, and that will charge you a bit more, right? So now what we'll do is go down, and then you can expand this container volumes, all these things, and we need to change the container port to 3000. So this is because we are using port 3000 on our Docker. So this is the port what we need to do use, right? And then what you can do is you can specify variables and secrets over here. Whatever you're using for the variables in .env file, you can basically specify all the variables in this. So just add the variable and just give the variables, right? So this is good. And then if you want to mount any of the volume, basically we don't need it with the Next.js. So that is okay, right? So now let's scroll down, and you can see auto scaling option. So you can see we have given an auto scaling option. So this is where if a huge amount of traffic is visiting your website, Google Cloud will auto scale and create maximum up to 10 instances. So for our case, I'll just do a 2 instance. I just create 2 instances, and minimum will be 0. That means if nobody is using our website, the instance will shut down and it will be 0, right? So that is good. So this is good. And what we'll do is now just to hit on create, and this will create our Cloud Run. You can see it is as simple as it is. And now so we need to wait few moments, and you can see I'll just zoom out, and you can see all the things over here, that what instance it is using. And what we'll do is just go back, and you will see all the running services which are there. So we have just deployed our binary corner thing. So guys, you can see it deployed my application correctly. And now if you visit the URL, right, so you can click on the URL. So now you can see it has given me a random URL, and now our application is up on this URL, right? So I can visit any pages like about this one, or we have created, I think, blog also. So you can visit our blog page as well. So you can see it is working perfectly, right? Our Nextjs application is working. So now you might be thinking how the incremental changes will go if we will deploy anything. So don't worry. What we need to do is just simply commit our code and push it to the repository, and it will automatically deploy. So I'll show you one example. So what we'll do is go to public, and then we'll go to our home page, and the home component. I will go to the home component, and what I'll do is change the color of our welcome to blue, right? So I'll give a text to blue, and I'll give blue 500, right? And I will just save this, and I will remove this color, and I will just save this, and I will do commit, and I will just commit this to change title to blue, and I will just commit this. I will just push it to the remote, right? So once I push it to remote, you will see, so once I'll push to the repository, you will see our Cloud Run will automatically pick the version, and it will start deploying the version. So how can we see that is go back to Cloud Run, and you can search for cloud build. So let's open cloud build, and cloud build, just open the cloud build. So you will see it has picked our changes, and I think somehow it triggered like 3 seconds ago, 3 minutes ago as well, but that is fine. You can see it picked our changes, and it is having its commit as well. And if you click on the build, you will see everything inside this build. So it's similar to the Jenkins. You can see every step what is happening. So it's currently, you can see currently it's installing the npm, some sort of npm. So now you can see it's running the next build. So now you can see it is successfully deployed. So if you go back and if you hit refresh on our website, you will see our changes will be reflected now, right? So this is good. So if you want to deploy any of the changes, just push it to remote, and it will just pick your changes up. So this is perfect. And you can also point your domain to the Cloud Run. So in order to do that, just go to Cloud Run, just go back, and we'll go to our Cloud Run only. And you can see we have a custom domain section as well, right? So you can name this custom domain, or you can point it your DNS to the CNAME with this, and your website will be pointing to the app, right? So this is good. So that's all for deploying our Next.js application on the Cloud Run. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. And if you have any questions, just comment it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.